Hey guys, welcome back to our real life scenario. Should I tell them?
No, please don't tell them. It's the weather report brought to you by Dre Smith. Take it away.
It reminds me of Family Guy or American Dad or one of them shows where they used to go to the weather report or something like that, and he'd be like, "It's hot," and then they'll just like switch back to.
It's definitely still hot because it's summer.
It is.
It's the hottest part of the summer too. The end of summer is usually the
You know
worst.
what I do love about summer though?
What?
Is I love when it's like 7, 8 o'clock and it's still like light outside.
Love that. Like 8:30, the sun doesn't go down until damn near 9 o'clock. I love that. And I feel like the sunsets look better in the summer. Mm-hmm. Like they're just prettier in the summer.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things to watch is the sunset. That's the best part of summer though, the hours. I mean, like what is it called?
The daylight savings type, the
opposite of it.
Yeah,
that one. Yes, we love that. It's summertime. Summer. You know, I heard somebody say that they really not fooling with Will Smith because they haven't heard that song all summer.
That he canceled that song. That DJs are like,
people have canceled Will Smith. They don't play Summertime. I don't believe in it. Hey, you know how I feel.
I can separate the art from.
I can with certain people, but I also don't think that. I think what Will did was embarrassing, but I don't think he deserved to be canceled for it. Anywho, this is not what you came here for. You came here for the real life scenario this week. And we have a question. We have more of a question this week. It's not so much of a scenario, but you know it's one of my favorite topics. Shall we get into it?
Yes, I'm thinking of all your off-topic stuff. I'm glad you laid off with Jeremiah and Ray J and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming a distant. If it's becoming a distant memory.
Okay, good.
One of the best verses ever. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. All right. So this is from, and I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, Baraket. Hey, Rhonda and Dre. I don't have a particular situation I'm dealing with. Instead, I have a question for you guys about sex. I mean, I hear people and relationship and marriage counselors say couples should talk about and set goals together. But do you think that this should include sex as well? I found that people will talk about everything they want out of their relationship with someone, but understanding and setting goals for your sex life isn't always considered. So what do you guys think?
Well, number one, thank you for writing in.
Yes. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. I apologize.
Number two is I'm going to make sure that Bree's here in spirit. Okay. There's a comment on YouTube of our first sex episode, and somebody was like, I think that's appropriate for Bree to actually be present during these conversations. And I was just like,
oh, like you can't talk about sex without your wife in the room?
I don't know.
Y'all are weird. Don't tell me what's appropriate for me and what's not appropriate for me. Jeez.
This show is all about answering questions. Like,
he's a grown man. He's an adult, guys. It's okay. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
You're a big man. Okay, we got that clear.
I just wanted to clear the air.
Let's clear that up.
You know, Bree approves of me doing this.
Okay.
So
very well. And I wouldn't do it if I didn't think that. Y'all gotta stop being creepy. Like, people can be. It's my camera.
Yes.
Men and women can be platonic friends with no other energy. We can have conversations about sex and not be sexually into each other. All right.
Very true.
All right, cool. Let's let that go. Please. That's an urban legend. All right. So she wants to know, you know, when you're in a relationship and you're setting goals, because couples do that. They like talk about where they want to live, what type of home would they like, how many kids do you want, what do you see for yourself professionally? But I don't know if sex becomes that type of conversation where you like plan for it. Like,
so question for you.
Yeah.
Can sexual compatibility be discovered through a conversation? Do you feel that way?
Yes. Of course it can. It doesn't mean a lot until the road meets the rubber. Okay. Like no pun intended. You do, like, we have to actually figure it out.
Yeah.
But yes, I think you can and you should, when the time is right, when you're ready, you should try to figure that out. Now, I am like a true Libra. I'm always in the scales. I'm always
Lion.
about being. Wow, you got that from Demona, and I don't want you to do that ever again. Ever again. Nope. Mona's the first person that told me that Libras are liars.
It just rhymes too. It seems like it goes
That's
together.
crazy about you. I
Lion
need you to
Libras.
stop. I don't like it.
Lion Libras.
I don't like it.
Libras be lying.
I don't like it. So anyway, I feel like overly talking about sex is like, but I do think there are certain things that you can talk about that can tell you what a person is like sexually open to or sexually like into.
Yes.
Yes. And I think you should have those conversations with anybody that you are being sexually intimate with. Relationship or otherwise. Like,
I agree. I don't understand. So because Brie and I waited for marriage, if you guys know, 3 years. And of course, we had to have a lot of conversations about that because we couldn't actually do it.
Right.
But people always ask, like, what if it's bad? Like, what if it's bad? What if it's bad? And we never had the thought that it could be bad, right?
God bless you.
Because number one is that really the only thing that I feel like for women that you just can't work with is if the equipment isn't capable of doing the job you need to be done, right? From a size standpoint, let's say that.
Well, I mean,
to a certain extent,
yes.
Like you can teach certain things, and but that's the one thing you can't coach up, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to communicating about sex and understanding and ultimately communicating sexual compatibility, I think it's easy to do that through a conversation. I think people make it more difficult than what it actually is. It's like what are I'm gonna ask Rhonda, put on the spot.
Okay.
What are 3 foods that you hate? 3 foods that you just don't really like.
Caviar.
Caviar.
At least I haven't had caviar that I like.
Okay.
Chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake.
Yes.
Okay. Chocolate ice cream, chocolate cake, caviar. It's your thing.
Yeah, those are 3.
You know, some people like it. You just don't.
Yes.
So if I told you, hey, I got 3 things coming for you: chocolate cake, chocolate ice cream, and caviar, do you have to taste it to know that thing you won't enjoy that meal that I'm coming to bring you?
No, because I've tasted it before and I know I don't like it. I've had it before.
Exactly. So it's like, if I tell you in a relationship, I don't like this, that, and that, we don't have to do it for you to understand that I don't like those things. And it's vice versa for liking something. If I tell you like, hey, I like this, and this, like we have different things. We go to restaurants all the time. We look at menus. We see the things that we like. We may not have had it there, but we know we like salmon. We know we like, green beans. We know we like loaded mashed potatoes.
Yes.
So it's like, that's essentially what communicating is. Like, you don't have to experience it to know certain things you don't and do like if you're telling me you like your hair pulled and I'm telling you like I don't like to do that, or you're telling me you like to be choked and I'm telling you I don't like to do that, or like there's different things. It's easy to have a conversation talking about like what you do like and don't like, and understand that we may not be that compatible based off of what you're telling me off rip that you want. You say you want to have it twice a day. I'm like, yo, 2 maybe 3 times a week is good for me,
Yeah.
And it's like we are having this conversation, and I can say this because Brie and I, when we initially started having sex after we waited for marriage, our sex was great. I mean, mine, there was, because it'd been so long, there's of course the little painful part, as you kind of no different than losing your virginity, not practice it. So, but as far as our compatibility, it was easy because we had so many conversations about what we liked and didn't like.
Yes. But I mean, so I'm gonna push on that a little bit, because sometimes you don't like you do have to do something to know that you don't like it. Maybe not with
at
this
some
person.
Point, yeah.
Yes, you would have had to have experienced it 9 times out of 10, like unless we're talking something just completely out of the box that you really never done and you really don't ever want to do. But I do think that sometimes you can discover something that you may not think you like, but then somebody does it to you and you like case in point, I won't say his name because he probably would kill me if he knew that I said this about him. But one of my guy friends was always like, I don't want no ass play. Like, don't touch it. Don't do nothing to it. Like, I'm not that guy. And then he had never had anybody do it before. Like, he just felt like that's a sacred place. I don't want nothing to do with it. And then he was dating a woman who he didn't necessarily tell her don't do that. And while doing something else, she gave him a little ass play with her mouth. And he was like, yeah, I like that. I actually like that. I don't know that I would ask for it ever again. Like, I won't ask, but if a person does it because they like it, I felt it and now I know that I like it. So I think it's like you need both. You need the conversation, and it depends on exactly what we're talking about. But sometimes you don't know if you like something until you like it.
But I don't think that that's necessarily compatibility. I think that you can introduce new things, but if you're telling somebody this is all I need to get me to this point,
right,
then you can communicate that.
That's at least the
now,
baseline.
Introducing new things is introducing new things. But as far as if you're talking about communicating compatibility and communicating what you like sexually, I think that you can learn that through a conversation.
Yes.
And then it's like if you explore new things or try new things, or if you begin to become sexual with somebody and you'll try different things or experiment with different things or try to, implement different things in your relationship. But yeah, I definitely feel like you can have a conversation about what you like and what you don't like, as like you said, as a baseline, at least to just say like, I don't do this, I don't do that, like, because even you said she did the butt play, that could have went wrong. He could have been like, yo, what are you doing? Like, no, like,
true,
you know what I'm saying? It could have went. So you taking a risk introducing something sexual, into a relationship, but
But that's my point. Like, had he communicated, had they had a conversation, he would have said, don't touch my ass. Don't do that. Don't play with that. And he would not have then learned that I actually like this, because you were in your mind, you had never even experienced it. So you made it up in your head, this is not something that I can do. I do think there should just be way more comfortability with talking about it once you're actively having sex with someone, because you always go through that period, if this is like someone that you just started sleeping with, where y'all don't fully know each other. And I feel like once you get your bodies together, it's easier to then have conversations about, I don't like that, or I do like that, or when you did that, that was amazing. But I also think sometimes the conversation is not verbal. Sometimes it's happening in the act. Like, if you like to ride, you don't have to tell him before you have sex, just so you know, I really like to ride. I'm sure he's going to find out when you maneuver your body on top of him and you ride really well or for a really long time. Like, he's going to see that and know that you like to do that. So I don't like when I feel like it's being overworked, that conversation.
I agree. I think that you have to leave room for discovery.
Yes.
I remember at one point I was talking to a girl and we were talking about sex, and she was talking about what she didn't like, don't like. And then she had said, I don't like to start doggy style because I just feel like it's not like intimate, or like I feel like you trying to like not rape, but like something of that nature. And she's reading off this list of stuff, and I was just like, it made me not want to have sex with her.
I'm good. I don't want it. You can have it.
It's too much pressure. Like
I can't even keep up with this list.
I'm gonna be in my head the whole time, like, am I doing this right? Like, is she having a good? I don't. So I do think you have to leave room for discovery, but I think that you can have a conversation. I think when you have that conversation, it's more about talking about the things that you really like and turn you on.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessarily you're not necessarily giving technique in a conversation.
Yes.
You're not saying like, hey, when you do this, move your tongue like this and do that. It's more like, I'm getting a little graphic.
Getting a little Bree, you coming? Oh no, no pun intended.
Probably not the best.
Probably not the, yeah.
But it's like saying if somebody's like, oh, I really like my nipples suck when I'm in this position or something like that. It's not telling you how to do it or how long, or like, it's just like, this is what I like. when I'm doing this. So it's you to kind of discover, to find
Mm-hmm.
that thing. Or even somebody's like, I like to use oral as foreplay and like that to lead into this. It's not telling you how to give it or how long, it's just saying like, this is what I like. I don't necessarily. And then if there's things that I think it's just important to also determine or communicate the things that are turn offs that will completely like kind of shut it off for you. That's this like this
just it's nope, don't go there.
Like this ain't sexy for me. Like I don't want you spitting in my mouth or something like that.
Do you have like what's one of yours that's like don't do it? Absolutely not.
I don't know. Come back to me. Go.
I do not like when anybody puts their tongue in my ear. Like that is, oh my gosh.
Have you ever done something sexually with somebody and y'all like laugh about it after? It was like, what were we doing? Like you tried something and it just didn't like work the way you thought it was gonna work. And you just like laugh, kind of like, what was we doing?
Probably more like a position, like trying to get into a position, and you like, this is not working. I got a Charlie horse, like I can't.
We tried it.
Yeah, like one time. This is okay. We're getting graphic. I'm sorry, yo. One time I was like, it just got so out of whack. I don't know what was happening, but we were so caught up in the moment that like I fell off. Like he like. Like he like flung me off the bed. Like it was like, and listen, I am a sizable woman, right? It's not, I mean, he was a very, very strong man. So I mean, for him, it was like, girl, whatever. But yes, like it got so crazy that I'm like, I just go flying onto the floor. And I'm like, I'm on the floor and I'm looking at him like, yo, what's up? He's like, I don't know, I'm sorry. I just couldn't. I'm like, it's like you're literally, I'm like falling off. And I'm like, okay. He's just like, wow. And I'm just like, okay, well, we just need to reset. We can't even get back into what we were just doing, dog. Like you basically threw me across the fucking room. Like weird. But yes, there have definitely been some moments, but more so like positions like this is not it. And that's usually, I feel like when it's in a space where it's just not conducive to what you're trying to do. Like car sex. That's why I hate car sex. Like it's not enough space in here. It's cool if we can figure something out, but realistically, no. I don't like it. My nerves are bad. I'm like, yep, somebody coming? You see anybody? No? Okay. Like, it's just, I don't like that. But yeah, no tongue in my ear. That is like, ugh. I will like literally like, I can't let it go. Like you go to, and I'm like, oh, no.
And then you gotta it's still damp in there, and it's still like, and you gotta like dry it off, because if not, it's gonna be a little breeze, and it's gonna
disgusting. But I also like to be, we talk about communicating what you like and what you don't like. I like to be talked to like during sex. So I feel like that is sometimes an opportunity to say you want something, like to just literally just like say it.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's part of the communicating sex is you talk about it before, but then you also during the act, you have to read your partner's breaths, moans, and then also if somebody tells you don't stop, you need to mentally record that action. Whatever you were doing, you need to mentally know that that's something that turns them on, really and that they really, really like.
Yes.
So you have to read those things, and
it's a lot of communication, verbal and non-verbal. Yeah. Like overworking conversations about sex just get creepy to me. And also I think people can posture, you know what I mean? Like they can say, or if I say I really like this, and they're like, yeah, me too. But then once we're in the act, that's not actually true. You just said it because you think that's what I wanted to hear. Like be authentic and real about what you like and what you don't like, because I don't even want to waste my time doing that with you.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to add a body when I already know like this is not gonna work. Like with you and I, it's not gonna work. So I think you talk about it, but just don't like overwork the conversation.
Yeah, I think my view is a little bit different than a lot of people, especially because I think most people have sex first and then they take that and then they kind of have conversations about it. Or most people don't have conversations about it at all. They either take that as the person's good or not. They don't even talk about it. They like, I like what they do or I don't. But for me, it's like with waiting for marriage, the conversation came first, like before any like really physical action, us leading into our marriage and stuff like that. So I think that my opinion on it is a little different because now that I'm thinking about it, I understand that most people don't talk about it before. They wait until after and, you know, have a conversation about what they really do and don't like.
True. That's definitely true. It's a balance for me. It's a little bit about it before and then kind of like the download. I mean, communication during, but then like that download.
Yeah, well, I mean,
kind of the report card a little bit.
The truth is that all women love if you can do something without them having to tell you how to do it.
Yes. Yes, we do.
They love that.
Yes, we do.
They want men to be mind readers a lot of times, which we are not. And they get upset when we can't read the mind.
Sometimes.
You should have knew. That's what they say.
Yeah. But it's all about exploration. We talked about this on our episode about how important sex is. Like, is sex important? I think that was the name of it.
I have a question for you too.
Okay. But yeah, like you have to be in touch with you to be able to guide somebody to what they should do to you. But it's every time it is a new experience if you never had sex with them. You cannot assume that what they liked, this person is going to like. I watched a video last night and a guy said, I don't like sloppy oral. First man I have ever heard in my life say that they don't like sloppy oral sex. He's like, yeah, I don't want you doing all that. It's just too much. Like,
no champagne showers.
Nope. Just keep it regular.
Shout out to Money Long.
Shout out to Money Long. Like, keep it normal. Like, just enough to do what you got to do. Please don't make it messy. I was like, wow. I would have assumed that every man likes that. Yeah. So I don't know if I would have had to find out after the fact. You know, it depends on how the conversation flows. What's your question?
We getting deep into this. You know, last episode or a few episodes ago, I had to go into my real love scenario with my ex and all that stuff like that. So I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
So do you feel that and this is something that I've been thinking about for a while, just as it pertains to looking at myself, but as it pertains to how people perceive sex out in the world.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your exposure to sex came at an appropriate time of when you were able to truly digest it and understand it and receive it, or was it much earlier than that?
Yeah, definitely not. I was having sex before I should have been having sex. I was not old enough to be having sex at all. No.
What prompted that?
When I had sex?
Yeah, like the early exposure to it.
I can't even really, I mean, like my first, I guess, consensual sexual experience was with my boyfriend at the time, and I was 14.
Goodness.
Yeah, and like I liked him, and we spent a lot of time together, and he was cute. I'm sure it wasn't a lot of markings at that time. It just wasn't like you ain't had to meet that many benchmarks at 14. You like me, I like you, we go together. But I remember him just being around a lot, you know, like we went to the same church sometimes. We lived in the same neighborhood. So yeah, when I would be hanging out, he would be hanging out. So, you know, that was, I think, how you have sex with someone that you like was the same, you know, just like today. If I meet someone, I really like them, they like me, I got good vibes from it, and I feel comfortable to give them that, or for us to have that experience, then I made the decision. It was just like that. Like it felt comfortable. And I remember, because I feel like everybody remembers their first time. What I remember about it was leading up to it, I was telling him like I wanted him to take my virginity. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, you know, I didn't. At first he was like, I really don't, you know, I don't know. Like, are you sure? Like he had sex already. Mm-hmm. So he's like, are you sure? And I was like, yes, I'm sure. Like, I love you. And, you know, I thought this was going to be my husband. And yeah, I will say he was, while I was much too young to be having sex, I will say that he was a gentleman. Like he made it special, and he treated me like this was this is a big undertaking. Like, you tell me if you are uncomfortable. Like, I cried, all of that. Like, it was such a thing. So, I mean, outside of the fact that I was way too young, it was a positive experience. But yes, I was exposed to sex much too young, for sure. But it was just because I liked the boy and he liked me. Yeah.
Got you.
What about you?
I was not like, and that's why I think of like sexual appetites and the importance that people place on sex. I wonder how that correlates with how people, when people were exposed to sex, how they were exposed to sex. So I generally, I say I live more of a sheltered life, but people always look at that as a negative thing, like that your parents are sheltering you from things that are above what you should be receiving at that time.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, my mom didn't let me go to PG-13 movies when I wasn't 13, or even if it was a PG-13 movie, like if she felt like it wasn't appropriate, she wouldn't let me go see it. She wouldn't let me see rated R movies. I went to a private school from kindergarten to 8th grade, and there was like 60 people in my 8th grade class. The conversations weren't about sex. I remember I was happy one time that a girl hugged me. Like I was just like excited, like, oh yeah, she must like me. Like sex wasn't even on my mind in middle school. Now, when I got to you public school little gremlins, you public school kids,
you ain't right. Don't do that.
Listen, public school.
I don't know, Dre. I don't know about that, because all the whole friends that I had in my middle school and high school years, they went to Catholic and private schools, and they were tramps.
They was from the hood.
No, they were not. They were not. You gotta be careful with these
not
projections.
From the hood. Not from the hood. Like
they weren't at all from the hood.
They hang out like.
No.
I don't know nothing about that. Am my middle school?
Like, to really think that the girls that went to private school,
not like
any of them were
not like in the
up.
hood, but like they hung out like outside of like their home and hung out with like everybody.
Yeah, I don't know about that part. I'm just saying, I could literally say her name right now. She had a very sheltered life, grew up in a nice home, went to a private school, and she was fucking out of everywhere she could go.
So
and
I'm not saying that that's not possible, because I know that there are some public school, because that it also doesn't. I'm saying it's coupled not just with the schooling, but also with the home and explore. Because you could live in a home and you could have access to things where your parents aren't home, so you're looking up stuff on the internet, like all types of stuff. So it's not necessarily about the schooling, but I'm saying all together with my thing was that at every point to where I could have had kind of access to something, or like there wasn't anything that I could like consume that was of that until I started to get older and I went to public school.
And that's when it changed for you.
The Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Public school's a Wild Wild West. And then when my mom got married, I had older brothers who grew up a little different than me.
Yeah.
And that was another level of exposure to things.
Sure.
Like my older brother gave me my first condom. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they're guys and they see you as a guy. So the conversation, is very,
and I
candid.
think that's how that's supposed to happen. Maybe not when you got the first condom. Maybe you weren't old enough to be getting one, but
I feel like I was exposed to things in a time that I should have been exposed to it.
Okay.
I think like when my cousin, he went to the same private school that I did, but then he went to public school in middle school, and he had the same like, whoa, like these kids are crazy. But the things they used to talk about in middle school, like when you think back at it now, you're like, yo, you were like 13, like talking like this, like you grown, like talking about, I F this B, and like, it's like, you're 13, like you don't know nothing about nothing. You don't understand the responsibility, what's gonna come from these things. Like y'all probably don't even really know what y'all doing. It's just, and I remember in my group chat, because I was curious about this one time with some of my former teammates, I was like, as a guy, do you feel like when you lost your virginity, it was because you had an overwhelming desire to have sex, or because you felt pressure from other people saying they did it to do it? And most of them said that they felt the pressure, not that they had an overwhelming desire to have sex with somebody.
Yeah, it was like peer pressure.
And I just thought that was interesting because that happens with guys all the time. I don't know if it happens with women as much, but it happens with guys all the time, to where it's like,
no, I
oh,
definitely
you
think,
a virgin? You a virgin? Like,
yeah, I think that happens to all kids.
Yeah.
Like if once you're exposed to it, you're exposed to it. That's why I say, you know, it's too many variables that could lead you to become sexually active at whatever age you become sexually active. But like I grew up in a very strict household. Like you think my mom somehow was like okay with it? She had no idea. I wasn't even supposed to be dating at 14. I was hiding that from her because I in some ways I could. My mom eventually like found out about it, and it was hell to pay.
how old was the boy?
16.
Not you.
Yeah, 16. So, you know, it was not this loose, you can do what you want to do, go wherever you want to go anytime. Like it would be something that I was maneuvering, like to be able to do something. Like I said, I would see him at, like I went to several churches when I was a kid. I had a church home, but depending on what was happening, I might be at this church because I was on a choir and the choir was singing there. So I would see him in places where I was supposed to be. He was also, like I said, a boy in the neighborhood. My mother was very strict. Like I couldn't even get my eyebrows arched until I was like 16. She was like, nope, you're gonna look too grown. How like girls were able to get bamboo earrings. I've never owned a pair of bamboo earrings because my mother said, no, that's like you're not old enough for that. So yeah, it was not okay for sure, you know, but and I also wasn't in an environment, like I can't remember, this was a very long time ago, but I can't remember being, like I said, feeling peer pressured. The pressure most certainly didn't come from him because he was like, you sure? Like he was never like, you need to give me some. I'm glad that my first experience with sex wasn't like, although I was too young, it wasn't this thing that I regretted. You know, that's why I speak candidly as I do with anything, because I'm really not ashamed of anything that's happened in my life. It's made me who I am today, and I'm very happy with who I am today. But yeah, it was not a thing. I don't remember being pressured. I don't remember doing it to fit in. I just remember feeling like this is my boyfriend and like I really like him, and I think this is what you do when you like someone. You make it official. You make that part of it official by like doing that. And so that was the decision at the time. I certainly wish I would have waited, but it was a positive experience. I just wish I was older. Because of course, once you do it and then you get through that first experience and you like it, then you want to do it. You want to keep doing it. And so, yeah, I wish I would have probably waited until I was maybe 17, 18, where I was more so on my own, getting closer to being on my own, headed to college, and or just never did it at all and am a virgin. I kind of sometimes were like, that probably could have been cool too. Like today I was still a virgin, but I feel like at 38 to tell someone like I've never had sex, they would be like, oh, that's okay. Not with me, baby. I'm not gonna be not gonna be your first. We not doing this. I need somebody to come in here that knows what they're doing. So, you know, I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, there may be some correlation to it, but I will say, you know, them private schools, them county schools, them ones is like, they're so, yes, they are.
I mean, I knew people who got down, like, but in my school, at my middle school, people weren't doing that.
Yeah, they weren't doing that.
At my middle school, like I said, there was 60 people in 8th grade class. Like,
yeah, they weren't doing that in my middle school either. And I went to an all-girl high school. Girls were having sex, so don't get it twisted, but it wasn't, you didn't get that energy in the building for the most part because there was no boys there. There were some girls that were gay when I was in high school and they had girlfriends and you could maybe catch that vibe, but it was rare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. It was like, shout out to Western High School, quiet dignity. That's what it was all about, being like a nice, polished young lady.
Oh,
and it was a public school.
Well, I mean, there's two different school systems too.
For sure.
Two different school systems.
Yes, for sure.
Two different school systems.
Yes. You went to school in PG County.
I did.
Yes. Okay. I don't know much about PG County school system.
Most people with means send their kids to private school.
Oh, because the public school system is that bad in PG?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it's not good. It's not. So you have certain schools that are better than others.
Of course.
However,
That's at every level, though.
That's every level.
Yeah.
But if you look across the state of Maryland, PG County is towards the bottom.
Towards the bottom. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right above Baltimore.
Okay. All right.
It's not. Shade.
It is.
It's not shade.
It is. You made the face.
It's not shade.
Like, you can't lie, bro.
It's
like
not
it's
shade.
not good.
It's not shade.
Y'all zoom in.
It's not
it's
shade.
Like, right above Baltimore.
It's not shade.
With a little lip curl.
I was looking at you because I felt like you was gonna think it was shade. Only reason I said that is because
it is shade, but I don't care. I don't care to do the Baltimore argument with you.
It's not shade. I said this because, which I thought was sad, I was in a meeting one time with the Prince George's County like education thing. Won't say wonder what under what administration or who was in the meeting or anything, but the message was kind of almost like, yeah, we're not the top, but we're not worse than Baltimore. Wow. Like, we're not the worst, like, you know what I'm saying, which is not a great mindset to have.
No,
that at least we're not the worst, like,
right.
So that's why I said that, not trying to be facetious, but like that it shocked me when that was the mindset. I was like, so that's what we're aiming for,
as long as you better than Baltimore. Yeah, that's really, that has been my argument, and we're not going to derail this podcast to make this a PG versus Baltimore conversation, because y'all, if you watch Don't Call Me White Girl, where we work, you'll know I can't keep up with it because I don't think I care that much. Nah, but
Baltimore's been good to me.
Good, see, you love it. Baltimore's been good to me too, but I also know it comes with its own set of things. That's it.
Like everywhere.
Just like everywhere. So I just be like, yep, because it's very nice private schools in Baltimore. There are very nice public schools in Baltimore.
I used to play against them.
I happened to go to one of the absolute best schools in Baltimore, and my mama didn't have to pay for it.
Awesome.
I actually went to a really great middle school too. So I never was really exposed to like schools that had like that lean on me vibe. Yeah. Never. I didn't go to no schools like that. Like, and I went through the public school system, and there were no like chains on the doors, and we had like resource officers, but they were there to protect the school, not necessarily to like
break up
like stuff at the school. No, they were just in place to, like, you know, in case something happened, they were there for that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know that my mother would have taken me out of that school so fast.
Listen, this is getting off, and we're gonna get back to it. But public school, when I went to public school, I was like, these kids are crazy. I've never seen people disrespect teachers like at that moment. Like snapping back on the teacher, like cursing out the teacher, throw papers in the teacher face. I was like, huh? Yeah. Like, what in the world is going on? Like, they smoking weed in the stairwell. They like.
Oh, you went to a bad public school.
It wasn't bad.
It had to be. They smoking weed in the stairs at the staircase.
No, so my school was great. Our school was like top at every sport. Like we were dope, and it was a brand new school. Okay. But when you put a brand new school into a zone, they take a little piece of every like area. Group of students, every area, and put it into one school. So you had some in some areas, but then you had like some from some other areas, and there's like then you had everybody in there together. Okay. So it was some people. Zone school. It was like so you had schools in different zones. It was a great experience. My school was lit. It was dope. It wasn't a lot of craziness. It wasn't like the worst school or anything like that. But they used to just be coming from where I came from, and coming into public school.
It was like night and day. Yeah. Like I didn't go to a zone high school. You had to test into the high school. You had to actually get in. You couldn't just live in the neighborhood and go to that school. It was not possible. So I think the elements are different when it's like that. But when it is zone and it's in a certain neighborhood, it's like, well, I mean, it's reflective of where it is for the most part, for sure.
Yes, for sure it is.
Yeah, and private schools are like never in bad neighborhoods.
Yeah.
They never are. Magnets can be in between maybe. Charters, yes, but private schools are never. They're all going to be on a beautiful campus that's highly protected. It better be for as much as the cost. Yeah, no, for sure.
Private school is great. Chick-fil-A every Tuesday, Thursdays. Bojangles on Fridays.
That was like lunch?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's very nice. Very nice. Definitely was ripping that little pack off the thing with my fingers. You remember them with the holes in them, like in the lunchroom? When you went to high school, you ever had like the fries or the hash browns where it had the plastic on top
Oh yeah, that they
and it had
would.
the holes in it?
I'm
Yo,
I don't remember that.
that
I
shit was
remember
trash.
I would say, and we're getting off, but I like the. I feel like every high school had the circle pizzas. Did you have the
Yes.
circle pizzas?
Yes.
The nuggets. Did you have chicken nuggets?
Yeah, of course.
So those are like the go. Those was like you could always depend on those things, and they weren't great, but you knew what you were getting with that if you
Yes.
wanted to get it. And it's funny because every high school had chocolate milk, strawberry milk,
Yes.
2% milk.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend Jeremy, who's from Louisiana, he was like, "So y'all telling me nobody grew up with this?" And it was a pouch of milk that they had in high school.
Yeah, like it's powder and you have to
No,
mix it with.
pouch. It's a pouch of milk.
Oh, it's
Like
not
a
in
ghetto
like a
Capri
carton?
Sun. No, like it's like a pouch
Oh,
with like
no.
a stick, like a pouch of milk. And I was just like, I ain't never seen this before.
I've never
I gotta
seen
show
a
you a
pouch
picture
of
of
milk.
that.
Yeah, that sounds. I thought you were talking about powdered milk, which
No,
my grandmother grew up on powdered milk.
patch of milk, a pouch of milk.
Pouch of milk. Disgusting.
All right, let's get back to the
Yeah, sorry, we derailed talking about school systems and yeah, we got there.
people can
weirdly.
relate.
Yes, so of course, of course. So she talked about setting goals. Like, do you think that you should really like set goals for your sex life? What do you think about that?
What does that even look like? Like, is that like frequency? Is that a
I guess
goal
so.
or
It definitely made me like, I've never thought about it.
I think that I don't know about setting goals per se.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to be intentional about it because if you don't be intentional about it in a relationship, it whatever you are not intentional about, sometimes things can kind of just
Yeah.
be forgotten about or
Mhm.
kind of like swept under because you have so many things you have going on.
Right.
You see this a lot with people who have children to where it's like it's all that's going on, and sometimes a lot of people
Excuse me.
equate not having sex to people not being attracted to each other,
Mhm.
which sometimes it's not even the case. It's just you have so much that you're doing, and honestly, when you're exhausted, you're exhausted. Like when you're tired,
Mhm.
and it's hard to do certain things when you're tired or exhausted, and you just been moving so much that you have
Yeah.
to be intentional about like
Yeah.
So I
Making
don't
sure
know
it
about
happens.
setting a goal to say like, you know, 2 times this week or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it depends. I think if you have or you find within your relationship that at some point something about your sex life develops a deficiency, then I do think you can set a goal to get out of that space.
For
like
sure.
and you work together to like if it is frequency, maybe you did at some point have it more often and then life has gotten in the way and you like, is this a permanent change or is this something that we can work towards getting back to the way that it was? But I also think you can have certain goals with sexual goals with your partner. You could be trying to it could be a certain number of orgasms. It could be a certain type of an orgasm. You could say, I've never had an orgasm from oral sex until I'm, and like, I want to be able to do that. That can be something that you set a goal with your partner
Like
on.
SpongeBob 1 hour later. It's just
Like, but seriously though,
try
I
it.
think that question really made me be like, I've never really thought about it.
Have you ever done that though? It's like, oh, let's look at the month. I want to have 3 orgasms in one session
Oh no
by
no
the
no no
end of the
no
month.
not like that. That's goofy. Nobody's done that like by the calendar. But I mean like in a session or like this is something that I want to do. I want to be able to experience this with you. It may not be something that you're experiencing, so you goal towards
Maybe
it.
the goal is the word goal is kind of throwing me off.
Yeah, and I think that's why this is her question because of stuff like that. Because we feel like sex should just be an inherently good experience that you shouldn't goal to make a great experience.
Well, I think that it's strive to make a great experience or like communicating what you want. Like if saying that, I want to, just have an orgasm off of sex to me just doesn't sound necessarily like a goal. It's more just communicating something that you want and that you're wishing to have.
Yeah.
But I think the word goal more kind of, I don't know, puts a certain stigma behind it or a certain thing that maybe I'm associating with it that kind of just sounds
It's throwing
weird.
it off. Yeah. Because I think it's the same difference. I definitely do. If you say, I want to be a millionaire, you're striving to make $1 million and you're doing things to work towards that goal. So if I say, I've never had an orgasm from, again, a specific type of sex, some women have never had a intercourse orgasm. Like they can only orgasm from oral sex.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a goal of hers potentially that I want to be able to have an orgasm from both. So then that becomes something we're striving towards, which is essentially once we accomplish it, it's like we met this goal. I think it would be weird to put it on the whiteboard or track it. Like, okay, we're gonna do it tonight. Like let's do it. But I do think there are things like one of the things that I think about is like getting to a place from the time that we first start having sex to when we are more so in our rhythm, that there is complete comfortability. Because I don't think that comes the very first time. You have to get to a place where you're sexually vulnerable.
Like sex in a bonnet?
No. I mean, like,
I mean, that's comfortability.
No,
to where it's
that's hair protection.
Like, no, I'm saying that some people may not feel comfortable initially having sex in a way in their full, fully
like, yeah, I'm
self.
Yeah, like I'm undone.
So now it's like I'm comfortable.
No.
Now to the point to where I can have sex with a bonnet.
No. I don't. One, absolutely no. Like it's not a thing for me. Like if that happens, cool. But I just don't
have sex undone. You are always like put together.
Undone, but not with a bonnet.
You think that's tacky or something?
Yeah, I just no, like not with the bonnet on. Like, what is it to take it off? Like, what is it to be like, bloop? Like, it's barely on your head to begin with. Like, just take that puppy off your head. But that's not what I mean.
How do you feel about bonnets in the airport?
Definitely no. Bonnets are meant for where they are meant for, and I'm not trying to get canceled like Monique did. Y'all do what y'all want to do. It ain't gonna work for me. I'm not like a bonnet is a sign that I am at home protecting my hair.
Got you.
To me. To y'all, it's like I'm protecting my hair wherever I am. So, hey, do what you want to do, sis. I'm not mad at you. But by comfort, I mean, like you really trust this person with your body. Mm-hmm. You trust that you can really just let go and they are going to take complete care of you. Like you don't care about, and it's maybe more of a thing for women, I think, because I think women are a bit more cognizant of how we look during sex. Yeah. Like we're always trying to be in the perfect position and look like I think most women are. And it's like sometimes to have the best sexual experience, you got to be willing to be ugly. You got to be willing to be like turn into a monster because he can handle that. And your body is completely surrendering to the experience. So that's what I mean. Not like bonnets.
Not like bonnets.
No.
I mean, that's another level of comfortability.
Yes.
It is.
It is, but no, boo. No bonnet. So yeah, I think that's always a goal of mine when I enter into a relationship is that we get to a place where I can really let go and you can let go so that we can really have an uninhibited sexual experience.
Got you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about, I don't think we set goals per se, but I get what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Goals just sound like writing something down.
Yes.
Like action plan to make it happen. Like,
no, they here. Yeah. The goal is like they be in here. Like, and sometimes it's almost like I don't know. I know I'm not alone when I say like it's times where you with your man and you like tonight I'm gonna make him in 2 minutes. Like that's a short term goal, but I could be like, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this, dress this way, do it like this, and then when you do it, you're like, yes.
Yeah, I get that. You definitely have times in your relationship where you just are like, this is gonna be my partner's night. I'm gonna
blow your mind.
What Halle Berry say, make him feel good.
Make me feel good. That was so awkward.
They were really.
That was so awkward. Y'all know the scene. We're talking about a scene from Monsters Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I didn't love it.
They was having sex.
Like for real, you think?
If you see the camera angles too, them joints was hidden.
I don't remember it that vividly, but I just remember how they made me feel good. It was just like
people used to watch that like it was porn.
Yeah, it was very intense. I feel like I remember it being very Like it was in the news a lot.
Yeah.
Like it went viral. I don't think we were calling things viral at that time, but it was very, very viral.
That was before my time.
Oh wow. But you knew about it.
Yeah. I knew about the movie, but I didn't remember the coverage.
Oh yes. It was a thing because Halle Berry was not that type of actress at that point. They were like, why would she do this at this point in her career?
Yeah. Established all that stuff.
Yes. Like why would you have such a spicy sex scene?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's usually something that actresses do
Early
like
on.
Don't do or they do early on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like Taraji.
Yes.
Boy.
Yes. Yeah. Probably ain't seen her boob since. No.
And on that note.
Yeah. So, I mean, Bearcat, I don't know if, again, sorry if I'm saying it wrong. I think it just depends on your relationship. Like, I do think you should communicate about sex. I think that you should want to have the best sexual experience with your partner, but y'all got to figure out what that is. So the only way you can do that is by communicating about it verbally and non-verbally.
Mm-hmm. I agree. You got any bad advice?
No. Like that, I don't know. I mean, because it's not really a scenario, it's more so like a question of do we think you should talk about sex with your partner? Yeah. I mean, you could always not and have crappy sex. But no, I don't have no bad advice for her. Figure it out. Enjoy yourself. Sex is meant to be a pleasurable experience. You got bad advice?
I mean, this is a segment called Bad Advice to Work, so we got to give bad advice.
I literally don't have any.
Oh, wow.
I don't. Like, what? I can't. You take it away.
I would say the bad advice that you should not take ever. And people do this a lot. Is just worry about getting yours. Forget about the other person, them being pleased. Just get yours.
And get out of there.
And get out. If you know your body and understand what please you, you do what you need to do to get the thing done. And then you just bounce. Forget about what they want.
Well,
don't take that advice though.
No.
It's bad.
Yeah, it would be. That's really bad for me.
It's not enjoyable.
But that's it. That's why I was like, I don't have none because I can't have a good experience totally if you're not. So that's gonna be hard for me. But maybe it'll work for you. It will work for me.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a good episode. Sex talk.
Yes. You look quite exhausted with it.
Yeah, it's I can only talk but so much on this subject.
Okay.
You know.
Because you're married.
Married, you know. I'm so far removed from like the whole
yeah.
You know, we have our thing, we have what works for us, and that's the only person I'm doing it with.
Got it.
You know?
Dre is very reserved on the topic now that he's a married man. Sorry, guys. Hope he gave you enough, though. I think he gave you some good tips.
Yeah. Well, guys.
Please wrap it up before he fall asleep. Dre's like, yeah. All right, guys. See you. Yeah, bye. Good luck with y'all sex. I'm good. Damn. Tune in next week, okay? We won't be talking about sex.
We will not be talking about sex.
No, we probably won't be talking about sex no more. So don't write in and ask us about it. Please. Thank you. Jesus.
Make sure you follow us at It's Dre Smith.
At Ronnie Cakes.
And at Relationship Restored. Make sure you go to the website, relationshiprestored.com, and write into us, contact us, and write in your real love scenario and tell us your real love scenario. And leave in the comments how you feel about bonnets and what Rhonda said.
Look, do what y'all want, man. I don't want no smoke about y'all in these bonnets.
We'll see y'all later.